Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to today's presentation on caregiving and the holidays. My name is Kristen Fleming, and I am the Education and Training Coordinator for the Alzheimer's Disease Caregiver Support Initiative. I work at the Center for Neurobehavioral Health at SUNY Plattsburgh, and we have a grant from New York State Department of Health to provide services for caregivers of anyone living with any form of memory loss. That could be Alzheimer's or any other form of dementia as well. We cover 6 counties, and they are Clinton, Franklin, Essex, Warren, Washington, and Hamilton counties. And we provide 6 different types of services. So the first one is what we're all here today for. It's education and training. We provide a variety of webinars and other online education and training programs, such as the CARES training. We're also working on offering powerful tools for caregivers. Now, some of the other things I do are memory cafes, which are social events for caregivers and the person they're caring for. This month we have on December 17th a musical performance by Mitch Willett. He's going to be performing a variety of different holiday music for us. I also run support groups. Again, right now, everything is happening virtually or telephonically. So the support groups, you can call in once a month and check in with each other, share what's going on, what you're struggling with, share tips, advice. So a really wonderful program. We also have care navigators for each county, and they are wonderful resources. They'll meet one-on-one on the phone right now with you and your family to discuss your needs. We offer respite. We also offer something called Project Lifesaver, which is a bracelet that your loved one can wear. In the case that they are wandering, you would be able to locate them with the help of the Sheriff's Department. So that's a little bit about us and our program. Now, today I'm here to talk to you about caregiving and the holidays. And this is a presentation that I made that we've been giving for a few years now. And this was before COVID. I know everyone's holiday situation and celebrations are going to look different this year, so I'm going to try to tie in some of that. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get started. You are in a listen-only mode. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into either the chat box or the Q&A box. I'll be happy to answer them throughout the presentation or at the end. And let's get started. So I'm sure you all know this. The holidays are stressful even if you are not a caregiver. So this is a survey that was taken in 2015, and money is clearly one of the top stressors for people. They also have to prepare more meals for holiday celebrations, and maybe try to accommodate different dietary needs. That can be very stressful. Other stresses include family dynamics. There's always some drama, not being near family. And I'm sure that this is even higher this year. People not being near family, not sure if they can meet in person, if it's safe to do so. There's a lot of stressful things that are going on this year, especially. Now we bring in caregiving to it. Over anywhere from 30 to 40% of caregivers suffer from depression. The holidays especially are making people feel, especially this year, more depressed too, because maybe you can't get together with your friends and your family. Maybe you're really stressed because you've been taking on more responsibilities with caregiving, and you're really struggling. The caregivers have more emotional, financial, and physical stress than people who are not caregiving. And on average, they provide about 22 hours of care a week, and most of them are still employed, either part-time or full-time. So that can be really overwhelming. Plus, we're adding COVID on top of that. We're adding the holidays on top of that. It's a recipe for people to be feeling stressed. Now, these are some signs that you might be feeling stressed. And if you are a caregiver, I am sure you are feeling some, if not all of these. First one is denial about the disease and its effect on the person who's being diagnosed. Maybe you're feeling anger at the person with dementia, or anger that there's no cure, people don't understand what you're going through. Maybe you're socially withdrawing from your friends and other activities that you used to enjoy. You have anxiety about what the future is going to hold, what each day will hold. Depression that begins to break your spirit. As we said before, over 30% of caregivers are depressed. Exhaustion that makes it nearly impossible to complete necessary daily tasks. And sleeplessness caused by a never-ending list of concerns, which adds to the exhaustion. Irritability that leads to moodiness and triggers negative responses and reactions. Lack of concentration that makes it difficult to perform familiar tasks, and health problems. Many caregivers experience health problems themselves because of the stress that they're under, and that begins to take its toll on caregivers both mentally and physically. So it's very important for caregivers to continue to take care of themselves. You can't take care of somebody else if you are not taking care of yourself. You need to eat healthy meals, eat regularly, exercise, go to your own doctor's appointments, get plenty of sleep every night. I know that's nearly impossible for most of us to do, but really prioritize sleep and take a break. Get some respite if you can. The cold and the shorter days and the hustle and bustle of the holiday season can be really overwhelming for caregivers and can make you feel lonely. It's easy to feel jealous of friends and family who are able to get together with their loved ones, or they have more time to celebrate the season. If you're really struggling, especially this year, maybe you're really struggling because you are not going to get to see your friends and your family. That can really add to feelings of stress, of loneliness, isolation, sadness, and guilt. So here are some tips to help with these feelings. If past traditions are too much this year, think of simpler, modified traditions. So maybe instead of going all out and decorating your entire house, you're just going to put up a tree and decorate your tree. Or instead of cooking, having a big holiday party and cooking a big meal for your family, you're going to get takeout. There's nothing wrong with ordering a meal from a restaurant. Support a business too at the same time. Accept help. If someone's offering to help you or says, "What can I help you with?" Accept it. Give them something that they can do. Maybe they could help you wrap your gifts or go shopping, or they could help with putting up your outdoor decorations. And ask for help. People might not realize that you need help. Sometimes we put on this front like we have everything under control when really we're struggling. So ask your friends and your family and your neighbors for help. Use technology. This technology is one of the biggest blessings we have nowadays when we're not able to visit friends and family members long distance or even close. Normally you would see them more often, but you're limiting contact with people because of the COVID-19 pandemic. You can use technology, video chat with your loved ones, maybe have a virtual holiday party instead of getting everyone together in person, and play games, maybe trivia related to the holidays. Make time for what you enjoy. It's okay not, oh, I skipped one. It's okay not to go to every holiday party or activity. You can say no to things and don't feel guilty if it's too much for you to do. That is okay. Prioritize what you enjoy doing, and don't worry about other people's expectations. Make time for what you enjoy. These could be things that are not even holiday related. Maybe you really enjoy quilting or crafts or exercising. Make time to go to the gym or to do yoga or exercise at home. If you are feeling overwhelmed by your feelings of sadness and they won't go away, it's time to talk to your doctor. about this and see what solutions they have for you, and take care of yourself. I already said this, but I'm going to repeat myself over and over and over again. It's important to take care of yourself so you can take the best possible care of your loved one. Excuse me. All right, so some holiday safety tips. When you're putting out your holiday decorations, including your Christmas tree, lights, menorahs, make sure you secure them so they're not going to fall. So if you bring out candles, they should be monitored at all times. It's also a good idea to put them out of sight when they're not being used so the person with dementia doesn't try to light them. When putting out breakables, if possible, try to secure them or put them up high out of reach, and avoid clutter. Not only can it make the environment overwhelming for the person with dementia, it could also be a tripping hazard. You want to make sure that they have clear walkways and it's safe for them. So a lot of people have mixed feelings about the holidays. Try to balance the holidays with what you need to do and take care of yourself. Think about what holidays are important to you, what traditions are important to you, and include the person with dementia. Know what your limits are and let others know about them as well. Remember, you do not have to live up to everyone's expectations, and simplify your holidays. Maybe you're going to instead of buying a gift for everyone, you're going to do a holiday gift exchange for one person, a Secret Santa or a white elephant type gift, a Yankee swap. And maybe it's going to be done by mailing gifts out rather than going and doing it in person. Have distractions for the person with dementia if they become upset or overstimulated. For example, have a photo album they can look through. If you're at a holiday celebration, even if it's a small group, that can still be overwhelming. It can be loud, be distracting for a person with dementia. So also have a quiet area for them, and try to avoid overstimulating situations like busy shopping malls at this time of year. Can be really overwhelming for your loved ones. Find time for yourself. Like I said, find time for you to do activities that you enjoy, and that will help you feel better. Now, if you are going to be visiting with family and friends, either in person or online, you want to prepare them. Maybe your guests haven't seen your loved one in a while, so they might not be used to some of their new behaviors or their memory loss. So it can be good to talk to them about what to expect. Remind them that sometimes what your loved one will say or do might not always be expected or appropriate. You can warn them if there are some common behaviors they might experience, and remind them that it's not the disease or the person doing it on purpose and intentionally being inappropriate. It's the disease. It's not the person with dementia. Remind guests that the first visit might be painful because the person with dementia might not remember their name or how he knows people, and remind them how important it is for your loved one to stay connected with others and to have visitors. I do have a letter that you can give to your loved ones. You can fill out. It's got a great way to explain what they might see, what they might experience, and how to deal with that. If you have kids in your family and they have questions about maybe their grandma or great grandma, why he or she doesn't remember my name, or why they act different than they used to, it's important to answer your kids' questions when they come up. Answer them as simply and as honestly as you can. Keep in mind their age and what relationship they have to the person with dementia. When children express their feelings, you want to normalize them. Make sure they know that their feelings are valid. Maybe share with them some of your own feelings about dementia. And remember that some kids don't express their feelings through words, so they might start to act out in school or with friends or at home. Comfort them. Let them know that no one caused the dementia, and children have a tendency to blame themselves whenever bad things happen. Teenagers, too, might not be able to accept how the person has changed. They could be embarrassed or upset, and they might not want to be around the person. Try not to force them to spend time with the person because that could make things worse. I also have some children's books available if anyone would like a copy. There's different ones for different ages of kids. Some are picture books, some are a little more advanced. So if that is something that would be beneficial for you or your family, reach out to me and let me know. I'd be happy to either drop off a copy of one of these books or to mail it to you. Preparing the person with dementia. So as best you can, it can be helpful to prepare the person with dementia for visitors, either in person or virtually, especially if it's been a while since the person has seen or talked to the people who are visiting. So try to show them some photos to help them remember who's coming. Maybe arrange a phone call ahead of time too. This can help the visitor as well hear how much the person with dementia has changed since their last visit. And during the holiday time, try to keep your routine as similar to normal as possible. Remember to keep time set aside for rest so the person and yourself don't become overtired from all of the hustle and the bustle. So these are some things to think about, considerations for you and your family. As the holidays approach, you might find yourself with a different attitude about the holidays this year, especially if it's the first holiday season since the family has received news of a diagnosis. It's normal to feel sad, confused, worried, or frustrated about the holidays. On some level, family members know that things have changed, even if the person with dementia hasn't changed much yet. The holidays today are surrounded by commercials and TV shows of picture perfect holidays, complete with families around the dinner table, a Christmas tree or menorah. Everyone's laughing and having a good time. If you have managed to have this experience in the past, know that this year could be different. Even if the person with dementia seems like they're good over the phone, it could be completely different if you visit in person or once you see them on screen. There might be some behaviors that you notice about the person when you visit or some personality changes. Try not to force the person to fit into the way the previous holidays have been. Try to plan for the best while preparing yourself for the worst. In families where they're in the later stages of dementia, it isn't uncommon for some family members to think about when the person is going to pass away. Depending on how the person is health-wise, it could be a fear of the person dying on one of the holidays, or that it might be the last holiday you have with the person. Well, you don't need to talk about all of the what ifs all the time or with everyone. It might be helpful to talk to a few close friends or family members about your feelings. It may surprise you how many people are feeling the same way. Remember that just because it could be the last holiday with the person with dementia, it's unlikely for family members' personalities to change. Even if you feel like everyone should be on their best behavior for the holiday, they may not. So there can still be some family drama. If you don't see the person with dementia or the caregiver, the primary caregiver often, it would be a good idea to check in with them and see what the new normal is. Maybe this year you shouldn't bring a bottle of wine to dinner because alcohol makes things worse for the person with dementia. Think about small children. They may overwhelm the person with dementia. If possible, talk to them about how you expect them to behave. Or if anyone in the family has a cold, especially this year, no one who has any sort of cold or illness should be visiting. Make sure as the caregiver, you are only attending the festivities, either virtually or in person, that you want to attend. Take time to attend any spiritual services you would like. If the person you are caring for is able or interested, or doesn't want to go, is not able or does not want to go, find someone to stay with him or her while you're gone. They are interested, take them. Try to remember it's the time that you spend with loved ones rather than fixing the big dinner or all of the gifts. Focus on what's truly important with the holiday season. If you're visiting someone with dementia, either virtually or in person, you may not know how to interact with them. It's normal. It's a good idea to have some basic knowledge of the different stages of dementia and how to interact with people in each stage, or plan activities based on the stage where your loved one is at. It's best to meet them where they are rather than forcing them to do something else. So in the early stages, be yourself. If there's something with the person with dementia has always commented on, try to show that side of your personality or talk about what interests both of you. If you're in the middle stages, even if you are close with the person, you may need to introduce yourself. It can be a good idea to start off conversations that way. Say, hi, it's cousin Kristen or your granddaughter Kristen. Play some music in the later stages, or maybe just hold their hand if it's in person. That can be a really good way to connect with them, even if they're no longer being very vocal. Traveling with dementia. Now, I don't know how many people are traveling this year. I would really encourage you all to follow the guidelines based on where you are. I know some of you may be out of state, maybe you have different regulations than what we have in New York, but really think twice before you travel anywhere. After the COVID pandemic is over, when you start to travel again, or if you start to travel again, maybe these are some tips you could use. Bring something that will identify the person, maybe a scarf or a hat, something that will stand out for them. You also want to have maybe a bracelet or something or a necklace that will show that they do have dementia or Alzheimer's. Try to keep things as familiar as you can. This would mean keeping bedtime the same, waking up time the same, making sure they have their favorites, their favorite pillow or pajamas. And if the person has never flown before, this is probably not the best time to try flying. You could try driving or something else instead. Plan your trip well in advance. If you're staying with friends or family, make sure they are aware of how the person with dementia is now and try to minimize the amount of time you spend in groups. Be prepared. Remember to get as much sleep as possible before the trip. Things may take longer than they used to with the person with dementia. Make sure you're both wearing comfortable clothes for the trip and look at the area where you're going. Know what medical services are available. Bring with you a brief medical history, current medication list, and information for the person with dementia's doctor. Know the person's limitations and what their strengths are. Be realistic about what they're able to do in a day, and also know what your own strengths and limitations are and what's realistic for you to do in a day. Talk to your loved one's doctor to get feedback about the trip. Limit the length of the trip. If it's going to be over 4 hours, it's going to be helpful for you to have someone else with you. Try to bring things the person with dementia to do in the car and avoid caffeine. If you're the driver and the person with dementia starts to get agitated, pull over before you attempt to calm him. It's possible that he will become disoriented enough that he will try to leave the car when it's moving. If you're flying, try to only use direct flights. Carry all of the important papers with you rather than allowing the person with dementia to carry his own. Make sure you're sitting together and try to keep him inside rather than giving him the aisle seat. This way, when he gets up, you will know. Pack all medications in your carry-on rather than in your checked luggage. If you're staying at a hotel, request a quiet room. If wandering is a concern, you can bring a door alarm or try a child-proof doorknob cover. If you can, avoid rooms with large sliding glass doors. Have a backup plan. If you plan for as many what ifs as possible, you might be able to react when things don't go as planned. Watch the person with dementia, and if he or she is becoming agitated, stop the activities and get some rest. Now, here are some things you can do. And I think these are wonderful traditions to do, especially this year where we're maybe not having big holiday parties. Put on old Christmas music and have a sing along. Drive around and look at lights on the houses. Put out your favorite decorations. Make and decorate cookies. Send Christmas cards. There is so many things we can still do. So it's really important to focus on what we can do rather than everything we can't do. I think a lot of people are getting caught up in how different this year is going to be, but there's still a lot we can do. Now that brings me to the end of my presentation. If you have any other information or any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My phone number is 518-564-2049. Again, that's 518-564-2049. There will be a recording of this presentation on our website as well. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day and a very happy holidays this year.